Good morning everyone. Today I have a first impressions video of the newly released Last of Us 2. So far this has lived up to and exceeded my expectations after the first game, so I wanted to share my experience and first impressions. If you haven't seen it in the title or description, there will be storyline spoilers throughout this video. Starting off with a cutscene at the St. Mary's Hospital where Ellie has been taken by the Fireflies. The only way for Ellie's immunity to be useful is for her to die for it. Joel makes the executive decision to do whatever it takes to get her out of there. This scene is a flashback while having a chat with Tommy from the first game. This continues the narrative that Joel sees himself as a protector to Ellie and has no interest in the greater good for which the Fireflies are fighting for.
Come on, baby girl. I got you. I got you. Cover the exit. Don't let him get away.
We then have this heartwarming scene of Joel playing his newly polished guitar for Ellie, which he then gives to her as a gift. I can't see his voice as anything to be aspired to.
If I ever were to lose you, I'd surely lose myself. Everything I have found here, I'm not found by myself.
Skipping to 4 years later, we meet Jesse, Dina's ex-boyfriend, after a heavy night, and Ellie reveals that her and Dina had kissed. Jesse leads Ellie to a bar where Maria, Tommy's wife, is located, as Seth wishes to apologise for being a bigot, as Ellie puts it.
I don't want to hear what that bigot has to say.
Look, last night I was drinking too much.
Sure.
As Maria walks Jesse and Ellie to meet Dina and go out to deal with some reported infected, we see one of the first examples of Naughty Dog paying so much attention to detail. There's a school class in a building to the left, which if following the path of the other characters would be completely missed. This is one of the things which made the first game such an immersive experience. We then see the extensive posters from others in the village, followed by a board which has already been updated with the day's assignments. Next up is an uplifting interactive scene of Ellie and Dina having a snowball fight with some of the local children.
This kid so much. You want to fuck him up? Yeah, I do.
You asked for it. You better run, you little shits. Holy shit! Get to cover. Go, go!
These small side stories are another aspect which makes you feel so close to the characters, as the game is not entirely focused on pushing the storyline forward.
Fuck yeah! I mean, frick. Don't tell your mom.
We then jump to another set of characters, Abby and Owen, who are currently staying with some others in a cabin not so far from the town in which Ellie and the others are living. Owen takes Abby out early in the morning to see the town, and they discuss how they're going to get him, who I assume is Joel, and Owen heads back to the cabin and Abby takes her chances to try and go and find out from a nearby outpost whether he is staying in the town. This is where we have our first infected encounter of the game, which was no surprise as Abby took off into the woods on her own. After taking down a few infected, Abby comes across 2 horse tracks in the snow, which happen to be those of Ellie and Dina out on assignment.
Where's the patrol?
We are taken on a short journey through the woods, surrounded by stunning visuals, which again do not disappoint. They stop off at an outpost to sign in, and we have a small romantic scene looking out onto the vista. Previous trailers gave hints of there being a relationship between Ellie and Dina in this game, and with the drunken kiss in this scene, I think that may well be true.
Yeah, this route has its perks. Where we sign in?
As per the first game, Ellie has her journal which you can read as you work your way through the game. This is the first entry and speaks about Dina and what happened the night before, thinking that Ellie herself is delusional and perhaps the kiss was just a drunken mistake. We are reminded while passing through a small town that you should always stop to look around for supplies and materials. There are a fair few supplements here, which as per the first game, supplements will be used to unlock and upgrade skills, which without could make the later game harder. At this point, the ones visible for Ellie under the survival tab are movement speed in listen mode, increased speed when using a health kit, increased maximum health, and endure, which puts you at low health when sustaining lethal damage. We also have one of the superhero cards Ellie collects by the name of Tesseractor, which after having a look is actually the third card, meaning I have already missed two myself. Ellie and Dina stumble across a moose which has been ravaged by infected, and they decide to go into the nearby buildings to investigate. This is where we see our first infected as Ellie, witnessing her throat-stabbing stealth takedowns as well as some bottle-throwing stun kills.
That smell. Looks like infected did this. It's down.
Ellie, are you clean? Yeah.
After Ellie is attacked by the infected, Dina gives her the materials to make a health kit and heal up, which is our first use of the in-game crafting system, taken from the last game. This is later followed by a recipe to make a Molotov cocktail. I'm looking forward to seeing what else will be available later in the game. As well as some new types of infected, to hopefully switch it up a little, but from what I've seen from some previous footage, we'll be coming up against a large amount of human enemies this time, who will also come looking for you if you're hidden for too long. That's the end of my first look at The Last of Us 2 campaign. Let me know what you think of it and what you would like to see more of in the future. I'll drop the commentary for what I believe is the best cutscene in the game so far, seeing the return of a familiar foe. Thanks for watching, Jally out.
Ellie!